Self-sufficiency is a lie. We are sisters, Julia and Anastasia, and we grow a big percentage of our own food from our orchards. We harvest avocados in the autumn, citrus in the winter, mangoes and bananas and the thick heat of summer. We preserve, ferment, and forage. We compost and collect rainwater. Our hands are in the soil every day. But the truth is, we aren't and will never be self-sufficient. I think that what this life has taught me is that self-sufficiency isn't a singular act, but it's a whole community coming together. Off-grid living is often portrayed as a pursuit of independence, of total autonomy. It's romanticized as the ultimate form of freedom, but I think we've got it all wrong. To strive for a life of self-sufficiency is to strive for a life of solitude and relentless labor. It's a lonely myth. Instead, if we believe in community sufficiency in a web of shared knowledge, resources, support, and trust, this is how we can find true resilience, true freedom, and true sufficiency. You need neighbors all working together, sharing knowledge, seeds, skills, labor, and resources. Nature teaches us this again and again. A flock moves as one, protecting the young and guiding each other home. A beehive hums with collective purpose. No bee alone builds the hive. In the forest, the trees don't compete, they collaborate. Shrubs grow in the shade of tall red cedars. The canopy feeds the undergrowth with leaf litter. The pollinators rely on flowers and the flowers on the wind. Everything is interconnected. We are not meant to do this alone. We live deep in the rainforest and we treasure the peace that it brings. But it's in the community that we find strength. It's in mutual care that we find freedom. So no, we're not self-sufficient. We are something much richer than that. We are part of a community there. So on the farm, it's just me, Julia, and Mum, and we can't do everything on our own. So we're gonna get a friend over today who's gonna help me to get this bamboo ready to treat so that I can build a tiny truck camper from it. So what we're gonna do today is basically inside the bamboo, there's these nodes that go across. And so if we break each of those nodes right to the end, except for one at the end, then we can pour a solution in that can soak this from the inside to treat it for termites and borers and any insects that might want to eat it. This is Max. He also has a YouTube channel and lives off-grid in these mountains. Today he's coming over to have a tour of the farm and to help with all of the bamboo work. You can check out his video of his visit here on his channel and see all of the cool work that he's doing over the valley. What we're using to poke through the holes is this piece of rebar, and I'm just using obviously what I could find in the farm. So it's almost exactly 2 meters long, and the pieces of bamboo are almost exactly 2 meters long. So it's not long enough, quite so it gets a little stuck at the end, but I think it's gonna have to do because I don't have anything longer. Some jobs can't be done alone, and gathering together the community to help is such an integral aspect of living.
Very nice.
Al, we did it.
Good.
A working bee is actually an Australian concept of getting the community together to work on a task, because as a hive we can get so much more done. I think this idea should be applied to everything. In many Indigenous communities all over the world, this idea of communal work is the norm. When someone needs a house, the community comes together and builds the house. And the weight of any task is shared between many hands.
3?
2 and then just 1.
Yeah, indeed.
I just wanted to quickly thank the sponsor of this week's video, Jackery. The next job that I have to do is pressure clean this bamboo so that I can completely clean it, and that requires a pressure cleaner. But here at this cabin it's completely off-grid, so there's no power source. So instead I like to use the Jackery Explorer 2000 PL, and it's a portable power station. We can use it to complete yard work, or in these kind of situations where you're just too far from a power source. It has a massive 3000 watt output for high wattage devices. So you don't need to worry about using power-hungry devices like this pressure cleaner. You can easily power appliances like air conditioners, induction cooktops, and power tools with a 3000 watt pure sine wave output and 6000 watt Shure. And when you finally do run out of battery, it has so many ways to recharge, including fast solar charging, which supports up to one 400 watt solar input, fully recharging in just 2 hours with 6 Solar Saga 200 watt panel. So if we're camping, we can keep it charged using only the sun. It's easy to move too. Equipped with dual wheels and a pull handle for convenient mobility around the home or campsite. I even off-roadate it through the rainforest so that I can move it to very remote locations to continue the artwork. It has a durable, long-life PO battery, which means that it has over 4,000 charge cycles, retaining 70% plus capacity, and built to last for 10 years of everyday use. This durability is such an important point for us, reminding us that this is a long-lasting purchase and it's just so useful. This pontoon has been in a bit of a bad shape for a few years now because it's been so hard to get power down here. So thank you, Jackery, because now I've got a pressure cleaner. And for our Australian friends, from August 22 to 24, Jackery will be attending the Melbourne 4x4 show, so don't miss it. I love the Jackery Explorer because of its portability, but also its versatility. We use this while camping. We use it in our art studio to power any devices. We use it around the farm and we use it for yard work. You can check out Jackery's website. They're currently offering their biggest sales of the year. And you can check out the Jackery Explorer 2000 Plus for your next outdoor adventure or emergency preparedness gift over on my own channel. You can check out the Bamboo Truck Camper process, where I've been treating the bamboo and answering lots of your questions. So today I'm going to pick some of my favorite things from the garden to take to Max's and share some seeds. I'm also going to visit his place and give you a little tour of all of the different sorts of off-grid communities living in these mountains. But first, I'm harvesting some things from the garden as a gift. Gardening in this climate can be a little tricky. It's subtropical, so growing fruit and vegetables that suit that climate is important. But at most nurseries, only typical European foods that grow in a more temperate climate are sold. These sorts of things are way harder to grow here, so it turns a lot of people off. Gardening, but produced from subtropical regions all around the world, like Southeast Asian or South American fruits and veggies, grow really well here.
I'm picking all of the good stuff that we've got growing beautifully here so that he can grow it in his garden, sharing the seeds.
Each plant the sastry, so many of the seeds were gifted from local gardeners and friends. Seeds passed between hands alongside stories of their resilience and flavor. Turmeric that is so plump, lemongrass that survives any storm, African basil that attracts thousands of pollinators. We grow so many varieties of different produce that neighbors have given us over the years. So passing these seeds on always feels really meaningful.
So I don't think I realized how unique this life in the hills was until I moved away to the city. And moving home, I realized that these hills are so full of people from all different walks of life who are living alternative lives. And it's kind of a community that fosters that.
Max lives in a beautiful part of the valley where the misty mountains rise up past palm trees. This area is known for its communes. In the 1970s, there was a festival held in these mountains where people came from all over Australia to celebrate freedom, sustainability, environmentalism, women's rights, and a lot of psychedelics.
Well, I know the guys that built it. I only know them referred to as like the hippies that had it before Steve, but they built it in this, I think, 1974, and I know that they built it by hand with all hand tools.
Before that, the industry here was mostly dairy farms. But suddenly lots of people decided to stay in this beautiful rainforest and continue creating these cultural shifts. So many hippie communes were formed in the mountains, and ever since this area has turned into a global hub for alternative living, art, and music. Still today, many of these communities exist, but interestingly, the next generations are taking part of this too, where many young people are deciding to move from the cities and live in these hills, focusing on alternative ways of living that are more connected to the land.
It's different on the road. It's considerably easier to achieve constant and consistent engagement with people, but it's so much more often transient and fleeting. Whereas here I find it's a bit more effort to go and get community, but when you do find it, it's lasting.
Because I even planned when I lived in the city, I didn't know any of my neighbors. But then when you live in the country and your neighbors are like kilometers away, but you somehow know them closer than other suburban neighbors.
100%. Yeah, I'm good friends with all my neighbours on this road, and I think it's also to do with that because it's more solitary here. People look out for each other more as well, which I love.
Max moved to this off-grid property a few years ago now, and he's been building and restoring a cabin. Max lives on the land with his girlfriend and also with Kendall and Glenn and their PA Leo, who are building a tiny home. This place is like a modern commune where all of the neighbours have the freedom to live on the land and build, but they also share the workload, helping each other on all the job.
He's so fun seeing the constant progress they're making with their build as we go. And yeah, being able to help each other is huge.
Those amazing work both sides. So
this area was actually just grass when I originally moved in here, and this is currently on the project to-do list.
get some
Goats. Yeah, actually my dad said get goat.
I always think about how while the people shape the landscape that they live in, they also must be shaped by the landscape. The hippie movement was and still is so strong in these hills because the subtropical climate of abundance nurtured people to see the beauty of nature, and thousands of city-living students decided that they wanted to live differently.
Yeah, this is one of the 2 bunches that I recently took down. And when you come from this side, you can see there's quite a few yellowing.
Do you ever de-hand it? I'm new to it. What's the ha? When you cut. So you can cut like each hand off, the hand is like the bunch.
Oh, so it doesn't not all rip? Yes. And then
You can kind of like separate them. Genius.
you go from having no bananas to 60 ripe bananas sina.
Week. Since moving here, Max has begun to grow his own food garden, mill his own timber, and gain his building skills while restoring this cabin one board at a time.
It's such a confidence game with DIY. You tackle a job, realize you can do it, and then it's the next one. It seems less scary because you're like, I managed to get through the last one.
It's so inspiring to see his way of life in these mountains. And you can check out all of his building projects and the land's transformation on Hisha Nenel.
To make a pumpkin soup.
No, I don't.
Strawberry, huh?
Real soft.
We started growing chia 2 seasons ago, and it's been a really good crop. In this climate, it's a food that we eat a lot of. So we're really excited about being able to grow more and more of this. There was a friend 2 springs ago who originally gave us some chia seeds from her garden. We had forgot that we even planted them, just sprinkling them out over the patch. And then over summer, they grew abundantly. And it was only when their bright purple flowers appeared that we realized it was chia. Since then, we've been saving seeds and planting more.
You can always tell when the shea is ready for harvest because you shake the seed pot. They make this incredible noise of all the little seeds rattling in there. It's quite amazing. Some of these pods still have their flowers on them, but most of them are completely dry. And so I think they grow these beautiful blue-purple flowers that the bees and pollinators then come and pollinate, and then that develops into the little seed that we'll carefully extract from these pods to turn into chia pudding. It's just the most amazing thing. Like, we've watched these grow from tiny, tiny little seedlings all the way to this, and we've watched them be pollinated. All the butterflies and dragonflies and bees flitting around them all season. And then now here they are, ready for harvest.
Next year, we would love to plant a whole patch of it and try to have as much chia seeds. That would even last us a year. And the true dream would be to grow enough chia seeds to be able to swap with neighbors as too. We do this a lot with our fruit. Kiwi in exchange for sugars cuttings, or jumbo in exchange for eggplants. This is such a cool way of interacting without money and instead sharing fruit or seeds or stories. How we build community sufficiency is by focusing on our own strength and then seeing neighbors do the same. We buy our rice from a farm just down the road. They have an incredible system where they're farming dry rice. Biodynamically, this is something that we would love to do one day. But the reality is that spending our days growing a small rice crop would be pretty difficult when we're focusing on so many different jobs on the farm. So instead, we're able to support a local family to grow in a way that honors the self. Sufficiency is an act so out of reach for so many. But the cool thing about community sufficiency is that it's accessible even if you're living in a tiny apartment and have no access to grow your own food. Community sufficiency is the act of shopping from the farmers' markets and supporting local farmers. It's the act of understanding the seasons and eating in-seasoned food. It's the act of building a resilient community who all work together. Community sufficiency is about having a network of people all around you who look after you, who are working towards similar goals and who will share with you.
Look how much tea we have. This is amazing. I think that last year we only harvested just enough for a single jar of seeds, but this year I truly feel like we've got a much larger amount. Yeah? It does not smell like anything at all, which is quite surprising and rather unusual for something of this nature.
How much do you think we'll get from it? I think that next year we should grow a whole field of it.
Yeah.
Like, why not? degrows well.
And yeah, that's absolutely right. I completely agree with that sentiment. It's a very valid point to make, and I think it's something we should all consider carefully. White chia seeds is the thing.
Yeah, it's working. Yeah.
Look at this. That's so cool.
Wow. I'm not sure how to know that we've got all the seeds out. I know. It's running.
I ran out of breath. That's amazing.
There is the cutest big cavor that keeps visiting the garden, and since we pulled all the old sheep plants out, and I think maybe all the earth's exposed now, and he keeps sweeping and eating all the bugs, and it's the cutest thing. It's kind of, you can see the garden's working like a real ecosystem. And I think when you find that magical balance that's also in nature, you kind of are able to make this beautiful garden that really thrives.
Look how much chia we got. And we haven't even sorted through all of it yet. And I'm so excited. This is such a good resource. We use chia so much. It's our favorite food, probably. Thank you so much for watching. Lots of love from the family and all of the animals. Thank you so much to our patrons who help us to care for the land, plant trees, and regenerate the forest. And for more bamboo building adventures, you can check out my own channel, Anastasia Vanderbilt.